There's only one way to right a wrong. Silence will never make us strong.
Baka.
When we speak out about the wrong, our voice makes a difference. For many different voices can make the change. As an artist, I believe that we have a unique ability to inspire change in the minds of our listeners. So when we speak out, we hold ourselves accountable. Because if we don't, no one will.
Some people spend a lifetime only experience politics and religion. Some people seize every moment, others take over by indecision. Some people live their lives like a victim, resigned to failure and them refuse to see that. Just sit down and I complain about the system. I know I try nothing, no star, and I made that.
Jamaicans have always had movements, organizations, and courageous individuals who have spoken out, successfully demanding change for the better. But now, although the voices of dissent remain, there needs to be more active participation in the democratic process.
We Jamaican people are united around many things. One of the most important being we all want change for the better. We want what's best for us. And one way to effect that change is to get the conversation going. Start talking, people. We need to speak to each other. We need to have that important conversation about change for the better. And of course, not only the people who are speaking are important, but everybody is. We all need to facilitate the conversation. We need to make sure when people speak, they are heard, we listen, and we support them. And if you don't know who to go talk to or you don't know where to go, you can start with the NIA. That's a good place to start, and you know the conversation will continue.
We shoot off our mouth at the bar. We chat at the bus stop. We chat in the barber shop. We talk in the hairdressing parlor. But the things that we are talking and saying, we're chatting to ourselves. Others of us, thankfully, are speaking out nationally, not just to one another in the community. We are speaking out and we are getting results. We are showing that it makes sense to use our democratic right to speak out, not just at election time with a vote. And we need to learn from those who are speaking out.
St. Andrew Park was a quiet, peaceful, and tranquil community until the advent of a recording studio in our midst. Since then, we have been having all sorts of problems in our community. Firstly, the patron and the supporters of the studio have taken over our parking spaces. When we come home in the afternoons, we have to be going everywhere else apart from in front of our yards to park our vehicles. Then you have the Angazan who circles the community, looking into our houses for whatever reason we don't know. But some of us have suffered immensely from these, I would say, hoodlums who have hung on to the patrons of the studio.
Starting the 1st of April 2012, what we did, we reconvened our Citizens Association and we basically made a plan into action as how we would try to go about getting rid of or trying to bring some order to our community. And we started out by inviting members of the studio to our meetings just to say, hey, we're having a problem, you are the cause of our problem, and we need your help in getting the problem addressed.
We got information from KCC, members of KCC, that prompted us in other directions. We went to Nepal because it is a problem, an environmental problem,
And so they would give
and they need to
they
give
would give
permission.
approval for the
Right,
planning.
they need to give permission for an operation of that nature to take place. While we were pondering, I came across a brochure from NIA, and I said, "Oh, let me see, what it is," because they said it was national integrity action.
And they were dealing with corruption
That's
of
right.
government officials.
Right.
And from where
And
we
sort of,
stood,
yeah.
or from where we sat, where we stood, we saw where the officialdom basically were in bed with the operators of the studio.
Right.
So we started to say, hey, this cannot be right. We're having a problem, and instead of who we're paying taxes to help us, they're really working against us. So we decided to go to get help from the NIA, and which we did.
Yeah, we found ourselves at the court and got into the system and heard everything that took place. We went back when the order was handed down as to how this matter should be dealt with, and the order was handed down.
We decided to pursue this because KCC has the authority in law to deal with the problem at hand. They would make it seem as if no, it is not their problem, because we did get much resistance from them in the beginning, but it is a problem for them to tackle and to take on.
And we also knew that there should never, based on the laws that govern the Kingston St. Andrew Corporation, that a resident commercial business should not exist in this particular neighborhood, because I do know that there are some neighborhoods that are mixed, but this is not one of them.
Yes.
This is purely residential. So there's no commercial activity that should be taking place in here.
St. Andrew Park is a smaller community, and not everybody can afford to move to Cherry Gardens. There are certain persons who live here who can afford to move to Cherry Gardens, but the community is located in such a convenient part of the city. It's near to everything under the sun that some persons do not want to move. So we have to make St. Andrew Park our Cherry Gardens, our Beverly Hills. And that is why we decided that we would have fought the fight to the bitter end. It was David versus Goliath.
Exactly.
And we were not going to give up. We knew that we were on the right side of the law, and we also knew that the pen is mightier than the sword, and sometimes mightier than the $1 million money that persons do have.
Although we are not fully there, but we have managed to get rid of the day-to-day operations. So things are quieting down. We have our, in most cases, we got back our parking spaces, and I don't see those undesirables circling around and looking into people's yard as they usually do. So I think we are on the right track.
Community should know that no problem is insurmountable. They can go ahead, try to get help. Try, first of all, you have to find out the required agencies, and there'll be some agents who will tell you, no, it is not their problem. It's not under their purview to assist in this problem. But you have to get from an independent source that, yes, this is the agency that you need to contact, and when you get onto them, press on. It wasn't easy for St. Andrew Park residents. It took years. It took daily telephone calls, weekly emails, letters. But problems can be overcome when citizens get together and unite for a common cause.
We can write letters to the newspapers. We can post online comments. We can have our voice heard on the website of the Office of the Contractor General, the Auditor General, and the Public Defender.
For nearly a week, the Portia Simpson Miller government faced a firestorm of public backlash.
The withdrawal tax came, and then was history.
to raise
The people had
$2.3
spoken,
billion
just as they had been doing over the years.
In our yard, you know. How am I going to say the next shootout?
Under a different administration, the results are the same. The Jamaica Labour Party government, faced with persistent pressure by civil society, is forced to establish the Independent Commission of Investigation. The seeds of change sown by the combined strength of citizens, media, and NGOs have now led to vigorous and independent investigation of suspected cases of human rights abuses within the police force.
Jamaicans for Justice had a big role in Indicom, in making sure that ensuring that we have an Indicom. How? By protesting to the Inter-American Council for Human Rights, in protesting here to the government that something needed to be done.
Because we need an independent body for the police give account to.
So we account to this.
That's why we need Terence Williams. That's why we need Indicom.
Individuals have to be the ones to speak up, and individuals very often do these days speak up more and more to say, look, I see something wrong here, I want it corrected.
But to bear the real fruit of social change demands sustained hard work of community organizations and government working together to ensure that firm policing is balanced with proven social interventions which reduce violence and attack the roots of poverty. The recurring fires that burned at the Riverton City Dump in Kingston March 2015 resulted in public pressure as the people demanded accountability and change at the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
No. How could it be a bailout when...
Sparks of another kind lit up social media as once again Jamaican citizens joined their voices in unity. And once again, success. Some successes, however, are hard-won, demanding rigorous research, strategic organization, and even compromise.
And now Herman is in her 9th month of pregnancy. Mr. Hall didn't fire her, but he tell her that she can't get 1 week maternity leave. Herman has not even had any vacation for the 2.5 years to work with this gentleman.
The Joint Committee for Women's Rights, with representatives of the Committee of Women for Progress and the PNP Women's Movement, worked tirelessly for the passage of the maternity leave law in the 1970s. They brought together women from all walks of life, from a variety of civic organizations and of all political persuasions, to achieve a most significant example of citizens' action bringing about important legislation. Petitions to the Prime Minister, mass rallies, peaceful protests, and well-placed allies, including Minister of Labour Vonnie Isaacs, all contributed to a solid wall of resistance against the status quo. Their commitment and willingness to negotiate on some of their demands resulted in the Maternity Act being signed on December 31, 1979, a few hours before their self-imposed deadline. Today, women and their children still benefit from their sense of moral responsibility.
We are going to be the future leaders. So in order for us to lead our country properly, our views and our opinions need to be heard so that others can understand, and where we need to be guided, we can be guided.
So in terms of speaking out, I think that my peers and other Jamaicans should speak about the political rights, child abuse, and other issues affecting the society today.
Some persons are really shy. So whereas one can speak up and speak out, another can't. So that's why we have peers, that's why we have friends, that's why we have the internet, social media. So our voices don't have to be heard physically, it can be heard through the internet, because the internet is a great influencer. A lot of people believe the internet, although not all things are true, but it's easier to reach out to young people through the internet.
Have you ever heard about the National Integrity Action?
I saw the commercial.
You know, I saw a documentary about it, it spoke upon how corruption affected education and the economy. So, yeah, I did saw it.
Yeah.
So, really and truly, like, what are you about? Like, what are the steps that we take and within your company, your organization? What does your organization bring to
The community.
communities?
Well, first of all, we try to engage youths like Jermaine over here, who is working on the UWI campus, the Farmer Club. And then Richard normally go in the communities and talk to people and let them know how they can speak out on issues of corruption and how it affects them. And even to let them know what it is, because some people don't know what it is.
Sometimes it's hard though to speak out, especially living in a community where it's you're seen as an informer if you speak out, or you don't feel comfortable enough to say how you really feel about a situation.
Yeah, and even so, like, some people really and truly in certain situation where they would love to like step out and say, say stop or whatever, and they can't do it. Is either because of fear or because, as Rolinda said, you don't want to look like an informer, but it's weak. Like, speaking out and standing up is weak within even our young people today.
You know why that's the problem? Because there's no they. It's only a one man wants to speak out, but it's not a collective. It's when a collective speak out and there's one voice speaking out against corruption, then it mitigates any fear that who you're speaking out against would have try threaten you or
True. Just like our national heroes. Then we'd speak out.
Yeah.
See where we're there now.
I want to, Mel.
Me I come from work, man. Remember me I tell you about the promotion and me that go for?
Yeah.
Remember me tell you so me go do the certification.
Yeah, man.
Me update my resume.
Everything you do.
tell me everything me do come timely too. I tell you say man bringing him friend and give him friend the job.
What me tell you say?
If give him friend the job, me upset man.
Me tell you that's a
I really cannot be.
It don't make no sense to talk about that, yeah. Because no matter what, now go change.
What are you planning to do about it?
Me don't know if you do me want to leave the job because
how you eat?
Unemployment?
Not 2015.
What I would recommend or suggest is that you call our office, National Integrity Action Office. We have an in-house legal officer who will take your complaint, listen to it, and that person would refer you to the relevant agency that would investigate the matter to see what is the situation, where is the corruption.
And how effective will that be though?
Well, it is as effective as the case that is presented. But if you do not do anything about it, nothing will change.
It will keep on happening.
And if you accept things like this, nothing will change.
You're right. Because our
example out of one of them.
True.
So that no more corruption happen after Mel's case. So even if we do it and it happened to not work in Mel's favor, you're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 more people
who are going through the same thing or similar and might want to take that same approach, and there will be strength in numbers.
To her boss to do it again. So he will think twice.
Come to think of it, when you really look back on our Jamaica's history, where we're coming from is our heroes are the persons who spoke out against what was happening at that time.
Where would we be?
Where would we be?
I would want to think about it.
I've seen where social media has moved a very localized issue and blow it up in a big
Yeah, that's
way.
true. That's true. But
I've seen where people have used letters to the editor to get their voices heard.
And then the media start to talk about it. And then even if you guys amongst yourself just start going from door to door in the neighborhoods and let people know that this is happening.
Now that we know that there is NIA, we can
join.
We can join. And
so how you become a member?
We have a membership recruitment drive taking place just now. We have our membership form on our website, which is www.niajamaica.org. I encourage you to join NIA, to join the movement, to add your voice to the movement so we can amplify the message.
And there are a lot of times that happens and you guys don't hear about it because it's not carried in the regular media. But we have some very good examples that we could share with you to see how things have changed when people actually get up and speak out against corruption.
I'll definitely tell my friends about NIA.
Well, you ignited 4 voices here today, and trust me, we have a lot of energy as young people, and we have a lot to give back. So, we voice won't fall on deaf ears, as what we thought. So, we definitely seek out NIA. Definitely.
Well, we'll look forward to working with you guys and for a better Jamaica.
Thanks for coming and sharing.
Not a problem.
It's our pleasure, definitely.
May I not go cook?
Yes, I never remember.
Later, Mel.
All right, later.
We could not be here today were it not for national heroes and many unsung heroes speaking out, not taking things as they were. Once upon a time, only 3 out of every 100 Jamaicans of high school age, and that was in 1943, could find a place in secondary schools. Our heroes spoke out, supported by the people. And today, almost every young person can find a place in high school. Once upon a time, not too long ago, no black person could find a job in a bank. And now all that has changed. Not because people kept quiet, but because they spoke out, they organized, and they came together. And so it is today. If you are not satisfied with how your member of parliament, for example, is spending the $15 million Constituency Development Fund, don't just talk to yourself. Ask the parliament. It is your right to know how that money is spent. And if you're not satisfied, if you believe that contracts have been awarded on a poor or bad or inappropriate basis, then you report it to the Office of the Contractor General. If you are lucky enough to have a job and you're not getting promoted because of politics, that's against the law. Report it to the Office of the Public Defender. And if you feel you're being abused by the police, don't just take it, report it to Indicom. And if after you make those reports, you're not satisfied, then of course, come to the National Integrity Action. We will help you. We will support you. When 1 or 2 or 3 stand up, as the women did in the late 1970s, they had no rights to maternity leave. 7 of them came together, uptown and downtown. That 7 became 70. That 70 became 700. And ultimately, the government was forced to pass the law, which today gives every Jamaican woman, more so than many parts of the world, the right to 3 months maternity leave, 2 months with pay, because they spoke out, they organized, they came together. And so must you, if you want your rights and if you want justice. And NIA is here to support you and to help you.
We the people have a responsibility to let our voices be heard. Justice and equal rights is more than a possibility. Truth set you free like the birds. Yeah. Wait, no. Say Rastafari speak so the people want fear. King Selassie I said the truth with the clear, and Babylon them no like to see we stand as one. Come back and speak the words from the tongue. Yeah. Well I burn down Babylon. Ooh, yeah.
How long shall they keep us down? Yeah. The future belongs to the ones who keep fighting.
Bright like the sun. Boom.
We the people have to talk.
We the people have to talk.
We the people have to say what's going on.
Rastafari know, yeah.
We the people have to talk. Boom. We the people have to say what's going on.
We need to continue speaking out. Multiply the voices. 1, 2, many can make a change.
Yes, I know we have to speak our mind, you know. Rastafari know. Cause if we don't speak, then nothing ever change, you know. Stand up and defend your rights. Black people, all people, you know. Whether in Jamaica, Caribbean, USA, Africa, Europe, Australia, anywhere on the earth, you have to defend your rights and stand up and speak, you know. Come back, people, me done in a circle again. Accurate.